Well, most of the snow has thawed earlier this week. Sort of like Monday, it was pretty much gone. Today's Friday, 17th of January. Wow, we're over halfway through January. It's a bit scary. And the snow has not melted here. Well, not fully melted here, where a lot of it was compressed. This is still solid ice. Have you got a stick? Oh, there's a clever boy, look. So, that indicates this does not get huge amounts of sun, well, this time of year anyway. As you can see, the sun over there, preparing to settle below the horizon. What time is it? 15:37, 20 to 4. And I've managed so far 1,500 steps today, which yeah, I'm happy with that so far. Hasn't been the most mobile day, but then I'm trying as much as possible to not take huge amounts of painkillers. I have taken some prior to this little stroll, but I want my mind to be I was going to say clear and functioning. I'm not sure if it's ever been clear and functioning, but I want it to be clearer than normal. Yeah, it's still fairly killed, but bearable. Come on, Pickle. Marley, come on. Yeah. Do not want any more freezings, please. I did manage to go arse over tit a couple of times on the ice, and I'm still worried that I haven't received an appointment for the orthopaedic footman, the foot consultant. Their system has two very similar codes. One of them is for a referral through to the consultant, and the other is just for physiotherapy. I think they fucking banged the physiotherapy button again, which last time I went to the physiotherapist, he took one look at my feet. He said, "Oh, it's not osteoarthritis, that's rheumatoid arthritis." Oh God! And he was the sort of guy, I mean, I'm sure he was very nice, I'm sure he's good to his mum and dad, but he wouldn't be told. He said, "My fingers." No, he says, that's rheumatoid arthritis. I showed him the fucking x-rays, and he looked at the x-rays and looked at my fingers, and he went a bit quiet. He could tell that he's the sort who doesn't like to be corrected. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people like that in the NHS. And unfortunately, for them, there are occasions when I'm more knowledgeable, experienced and qualified, which they also don't like. And we still have that thing in the NHS where, we respect the practitioner and we put them on a pedestal. This is especially true with consultants. We put them on a pedestal and they can do no wrong, until of course they do wrong, or they are wrong. And then we have a mechanism in the NHS for dealing with that when someone is wrong, and we call it closing ranks. And we will cover up mistakes and wrongdoing. It's so ingrained, it's so institutionalized, that it's only when you get cases that really blow the lid off it. So Lucy Letby is one example, Harold Shipman another. I mean, with Letby, the warning signs were not even warning signs. They were great big flashing neon signs with sirens, and yet she was still allowed to continue killing babies. I just find it immensely disappointing that what I consider to be the greatest institution, humane institution on the planet, the National Health Service, still has at its core the cancer of cover-up. And that extends all the way through from whether you're a cleaner, although cleaners aren't employed by the NHS anymore because that's been privatised, or a caterer. Actually, that's not a part of the NHS anymore because that's been privatised, or one of the maintenance. Actually, now all the maintenance has been privatised. What about the pharmacists? Oh yeah, those all sold off to Boots. All the pharmacists are privately run now. Well, okay, your ambulance drive. No, ambulance services are all privatised now. Oh dear. Yeah, okay. But whatever role you are in, if it is still within the NHS, I know it's possible that some nurses and some doctors still work within the NHS. The received wisdom is that you are only as good as your last reference. So, as an example, you could be the best anaesthetist in the country, and you only have to upset the person above you once, and your career can be at an end. This is especially true for, awful term, junior doctors. What a terribly degrading term to give to someone who could have 15-20 years experience of being a fully qualified doctor, but they are still at the mercy of the head of their department or the consultant that they're attached to. And if you upset that consultant, your bad reference will mean whether you're the best anaesthetist or the best junior doctor or the best nurse, if you upset someone and you don't get a good reference, your career is over. So, which is why I probably haven't made a big fuss about this physiotherapist. I don't know whether he's employed by the NHS or not. I've always assumed that he is, but you know the problem with making assumptions. Alright, Pickle. And that particular story gets worse. He said, "Oh, it's obvious to me that it's rheumatoid arthritis. I'm going to refer you through to see a consultant." And which, you know, to his credit, he did. He referred me through to see a rheumatoid arthritis specialist consultant here in Sheffield at the Royal Hallamshire Hospital. So I hobbled my way in and then waited and got called in to see the guy, and he looked quizzical, and I just knew why he looked quizzical, and that was confirmed when he said, if I had a couple of students with me now, a couple of student doctors with me now, and I wanted to show them the perfect example of osteoarthritis, I would show them your hands and your feet. And I said, yep. Rather sadly, I have to agree with you. And we shared a little giggle when I told him the story. And I said, I'm sorry that your time's been wasted. And he said to me, well, I'm sorry, Dr. Bailey, that your time's been wasted. And we had another little giggle again. And that was it. It's not as if the NHS can afford loads of wasted appointments, but what do you do? So I think that treadmill is again about to be deployed. I will be referred to a physiotherapist who will then say, oh no, I know best. Oh, we're going for a further walk, are we, Marley? Over to the Magpie. Otherwise, I'm in a situation of... Right, let me just backtrack a little, just for a second. In a position whereby I know that the treatment options are very limited, for my toes especially. There are things like bone shaving, breaking the joints and resetting them, sort of like fusing them together, but at least straight. So I won't be able to bend them, but at least they won't be in the current state where they're all curling under each other or over the top of each other. Or I will spare you the vision of my toes. And again, the left foot is worse. But I would like, really, and this is why I need to have some more x-rays done on my hands, because I think those x-rays were 1.5, 2 years ago, and I'd like to see the extent of the deterioration during that time, so that I can assess and plan for the future. Same goes for the feet. So yeah, the treatment options, things like bone shaving, breaking the bones, etc. I'd just like to have that in reserve for when needed. Same with my fingers. Now the problem with the fingers, yes, I know some people will say, well, you can have joint replacements. That is true. I'm not completely sure about toe joint replacements, but certainly finger joint replacements are possible. However, while that does restore some of the dexterity, there's no inherent strength in those joints. So were I to go and pick up a heavy bag of shopping, just as an example, the joints could very, very easily and quickly give way, break back at the beginning. But I suppose in the longer term, should I completely lose the dexterity of my fingers, that will be the option that I will, by necessity, have to initiate, and then get somebody else to do all of the lifting and shifting. So yes, I am aware that will be a potential. Marley, do we know where we're going, or are we just wandering around in circles? Because I can feel the painkillers starting to wear off a little bit, mate. Yeah, alright. I'll walk for as long as I can and then regret it later, but it's alright, because you're such a beautiful boy. Alright, so yeah, anyway, there we are. There we have it. That is it's my little wimble for today. Just thoughts, really. And yeah. So coming back to one of the other observations I made is the cascading catastrophification of, I suppose, arthritis is a part of it. Diabetes is another part of it. So sometimes my blood sugar gets quite low and I get a bit fainty. So then I might eat something that's probably not the healthiest for me to eat. And when I'm not particularly ambulant, is that a word? Is ambulant a word? It is now. When I'm not excessively mobile, it's quite easy to either not eat, which is not good, or to eat, and if I'm not careful, that not eating or to eating, I will eat probably shit that's probably not good for me. And then not being as mobile or ambulant, I'm going to use that term again, not being as ambulant, not exercising, moving enough. You put weight on, putting the weight on puts more stress on the joints, and the big wheel keeps turning. Stress on the joints, too painful to go and exercise or go for a walk, which is, Marley, we'll go this way now. We haven't been up here today. So you don't exercise, you don't go for a walk. Consequently, you don't lose the weight. So yeah, cascading catastrophifications. And at some point I will have to address the question of which joints, the bigger joints, do I have replaced. At the moment it's a toss-up between left knee and right hip. I don't know why they couldn't both be on the same side, but it's my left knee that had that strange, you won't know about this, I didn't mention it on this channel, but I think I mentioned it on one of my other channels. The left knee did something very, very strange. It bent the wrong way, but didn't break and didn't, I don't know, it was weird. It just, whoom, suddenly it wasn't there. I didn't walk on it for 10 days and then it was fine again. Normal again. Well, I say I didn't walk on it. I kind of like did, but I tried not to bend the knee, which is difficult if you want to try it. Walking and not bending a knee. It seems to have been behaving itself since then. And then my right hip, again, yeah, I can feel it. Sometimes it's like rubbing two china teacups together. That's how it feels. I'm sorry if that has triggered anybody. Some people mention running your fingernails down a blackboard, but a lot of people these days won't know what a blackboard is. Actually, thinking about it, a lot of people these days won't know what china teacups are. There's a leathering thought. Right, so I think, you're right, you could still keep going, couldn't you? You're the one that's supposed to be old and decrepit, or is that me? It's probably both of us. So there you go, just thoughts, really. And because I know this channel hasn't got any real subscribers, I can pretty much say what I want and it'll be a long-term record of my... Oh, have you found a ball? Clever boy. Yes, that's a good ball. It's weird, Marley's predecessor, we could be in the middle of nowhere and he'd find half a dozen tennis balls. So at home had 7 or 8 carrier bags full of discovered tennis balls. Marley very rarely finds them. You just started, have you? In the last year or so he started finding more and more. Right, yeah, so anyway, this channel, why am I plonking stuff on this channel? Really, I think because I wanted somewhere just to show that I'm actually human. I do a lot of stuff for other people, and one of my aims, I suppose, not a New Year's resolution as such, because I just don't do those, because it's a bit of a joke when you fail. You're given license to fail, but I wanted to document more of me for potentially... Crikey, look, it's still frozen, look. I don't know if you can see that. Still frozen. Well, you can see that one anyway. But I didn't know where to put it, so I thought I'll plonk it on here. When I started this channel, just thoughts really, it was to... If you look at some of the original videos from about 3 or 4 years ago, you'll see it was all... Ow, fuck me. God, nearly went. Crumbs. It's alright, Miley, come on, let's go. From 3 or 4 years ago, it's kind of a political commentary and whatever, but I'm trying to back away from being too overtly political. I suppose because, like most people, I have my own little echo chambers on Facebook and whatever, where my circle of friends all generally pretty much share the same political ideology. Is that a good ball? So it gets a little bit too safe. So I thought I'd start putting stuff on this channel, and then, do you know, I think it's like it's a way of just amplifying the negativity. For a number of years I've subscribed to Private Eye. And the last few months I've just stopped reading it because I just get so fucking angry. And so today's Friday the 17th. In 3 days' time will be the start of the second term for Donald J. Trump. And I'm not even going to comment about that today. I'll probably wait. I might do on Monday. I might revisit that on Monday. See how I feel. But I suspect we're in for a fairly turbulent 4 years. I know a lot of it will be bluster, bullshit and bluster. But along with that, there will just be the actions of a demented man-child. I suppose the best we can hope for is that the planet is still here in 4 years' time. Anyway, that's it. It's now time to terminate this little stroll and go and take some more painkillers. I don't know why I nearly fell over back there. It's just my balance is really a little bit weird. It's something that I'm having to be conscious of. Consequently why I didn't walk over that lot. Anyway, that's my just thoughts really for Friday the 17th of January 2025. Cheers.